This week on Alan's Antics, it's T-minus 7 weeks until Independence Day, and this week will be remembered for the 3 T's in particular: TTIP, Turkey, and tobacco. Greenpeace released 248 pages of leaked documents on the trade deal the EU is vainly trying to negotiate with the US, known as TTIP, and it appears the United States, with its dramatically lower standards, is getting its own way. This week, the European Commission will offer visa-free travel to Turks wishing to visit mainland Europe, a landmark moment in Turkey's long-standing campaign to join the European Union. Finally, T for tobacco, the leaf of which apparently, unbeknownst to the EU's institutions, is not used in e-cigarettes. The alternative to smoking, estimated to be 95% less harmful. In their infinite wisdom, the European Commission, as well as the Parliament and the Council, all decided that e-cigarettes should be classed as a tobacco product like any other, meaning plain packaging and no advertising. The outcome of this decision, the EU's Tobacco Products Directive, has naturally been challenged in the European Court of Justice. The court ruled against the challenge. The court's verdict puts conventional cigarettes on a level footing with the e-alternative. And who benefits but Big Tobacco, one of the most notoriously powerful political lobbies? It begs the question, whose interest is the EU aiming to protect? Those of the public and their personal health, or unscrupulous multinationals? Leave EU entered new territory this week. On Monday, Labour MP Kate Hoy was interviewed on Fox News in the United States, asking American viewers to share our perspective. Quote, "The American people wouldn't stand for a court in Mexico overruling what your US courts had said." So that's the latest from leave.eu here on Radio Free UK. Germany plots tax on British motorists to cover growing bill of its 1.1 million migrants. Germany is plotting to levy a punitive tax on British motorists to help subsidise the growing bill for coping with the millions of migrants flooding towards its borders. And of course, things have moved on since January, but we can still blame the EU, and Mrs. Merkel has still got to take some of the blame for ridiculous ideas like hiking our fuel prices here in the UK to pay for one of her ridiculous decisions. You know, I'm starting to genuinely wonder about the mental stability of that moon-faced idiot that we have as a Prime Minister. Take a listen to this report from CCTV.
Drawing on the lessons of Europe's darkest hour, the UK Prime Minister warned it could all happen again.
Can we be so sure that peace and stability on our continent are assured beyond any shadow of doubt? Is that a risk worth taking? I would never be so rash as to make that assumption.
Not only can we call into question from that last report the mental health of the Prime Minister, but have a listen to this as well. There's also a little bit of fraud going on. Police launch investigations into Tory electoral fraud across the country. So, if they cheated their way to power, if that's what you can call it, in the 2015 general election by fiddling their expenses, what's to say they're not going to do the same when we are supposed to vote to leave the EU? Over this weekend, I've spent quite a bit of time thinking about me, and thinking about what I believe, and thinking about what's going to happen to me in the future. And it was all brought home to me because on Saturday I lost my closest, dearest friend, James Atherton. He was a man who I'd known for over 30 years, but due to his ill health, he finally succumbed in Sheffield Hallamshire Hospital on Saturday, the 7th of May 2016, at the age of 45. Now, this is going to sound very esoteric to a lot of you, and it's not something you're used to hearing from me. But I believe that the container that we could see, that we could touch, that we could interact with has given up. It's failed, it's broken, and it was beyond repair. But the personality, the spirit, the soul, whatever you want to call it, the essence that was and is James Atherton is still there. But it's beyond the spectrum of our senses. So yes, it does sound very esoteric, and it does sound very kind of ooh and out there, and like I say, you're not used to hearing that from me, but this weekend really brought it home to me.
We need a new vision that allows our most precious desires to animate a new society. It is time to stop moving power around and return it to where it belongs, to the public.
Great thing about the internet is it disintermediates the message. People will now go to the website and make up their own minds. They don't need a professional leftist TV journalist standing in front of the camera with a microphone telling them what they ought to think about something. Because the world is not the way we would like it. Heaven knows that there are lots of things to complain about. And we complain, And in a way, we're right to complain, but we come across very easily as curmudgeonly if all we do is complain. And the lesson is that to be a successful conservative, you also have to imbue your vision with a little breath of warmth. You have to convey a sense of optimism, that you don't just criticize what's wrong, although heaven knows there is plenty to criticize. You also posit a vision of what could be better. You give the voters a sense that there is a better tomorrow, and that if they vote for you, there will be tangible and immediate consequences that will improve their lives. And if you can do that, rather than being the angry old man, I find myself doing it sometimes. I was doing it when the Prime Minister came to Brussels. If you can do that, then people come with you.
A lot of the things that I believe are contained within the audio of those 3 videos. And once again, you're not going to agree with everything. And I don't expect you to, because I don't agree with everything that was just said. But that's because I'm me. I'm my personal individual. I've got my beliefs, and you've got yours. And that's the only way it can be. And let's do what we can to make sure it stays that way, so that we can have our own beliefs, our own faith, and our own way of expressing that belief and that faith, if you want faith at all. Now, credit goes to, from YouTube, The Left Libertarian and Reason TV. The videos are available on YouTube, so have a look out for The Left Libertarian and Reason TV and make the most of your life. I'm 47, and mortality has come looking and knocking on my door recently as well. But let's just do the best we can for our fellow man and woman. This is Alan Taylor Shearer for Radio Free UK, and for you, for free. Well, that was just a little snapshot of the week on Alan's Antics on RadioFreeUK.org. To hear the full recordings and a whole lot more, go to RadioFreeUK.org. And there'll be more next week. Take care and have a safe one.